Hello, warmest greetings from Canada. My name is Martin Newman, and I'm here to talk to you about two Canadian examples of growing the urban forest through experiential learning programs for youth. These kids are getting their hands dirty and loving it. The two case studies are both from Guelph. Where is Guelph, you may ask? Guelph is about 100 kilometers west of Toronto, in the middle of the Grand River watershed. Watershed improvement is a motivator in both case studies. The Speed River, a tributary of the Grand, passes through both Guelph and Guelph Lake. Guelph has a population of 135,000 people and is set in an agricultural landscape in which both rural forest cover and urban tree canopy are roughly 25%. A little about me. I worked over 3 decades in various watershed forestry and biodiversity roles at the Grand River Conservation Authority and 6 years leading the Parks and Forestry Group at the City of Guelph. I'm honored to be a co-founder of both highlighted programs and lucky to have worked for employers that are highly supportive of these initiatives. The two case studies are the Rotary Forest at Guelph Lake and Trees for Guelph. I remain on the board of Trees for Guelph, and I am a member of the Rotary Environment Committee. If you're wondering where I am right now, I am speaking to you from my current job at the Nass River Lodge, a wilderness fly fishing lodge in northern British Columbia near Alaska, where I am working for the steelhead season with my son, the guide, Sam. Those who love fishing might want to give it a try. And if your screen happens to go blank during the presentation, it could mean that I've caught a fish. This is a view of the Rotary Forest at Guelph Lake, just before reforestation began. The red outline marks the 50 hectares planted between 2008 and 2022. Just beyond the planting area, you can see Guelph Lake and the dam across the Speed River. And a kilometer beyond that, you can see the edge of the city of Guelph. The site may seem rural to you, and you may wonder how this case study made it to an urban forestry conference. But by my definition, this is part of Guelph's urban forest because it was created by and is used by people from Guelph, and many of its benefits accrue in Guelph. Classes from the Guelph Lake Nature Center need only walk 5 minutes to get to the Rotary Forest, which they do most days. The Rotary Club of Guelph is the lead partner for organizing and funding an annual Earth Day planting event with hundreds of participants, food, entertainment, and exhibits. This family is walking out to join the planting at the 2010 Earth Day event. The planters are on the distant hillside, planting some of the almost 100 native tree, shrub, and wildflower species. I'm sure I don't have to list the multitude benefits of trees and forests to an audience of arborists and foresters, but I would like to highlight a few aspects of this project that really stand out to me. The Rotary Forest Earth Day event is the flagship Earth Day event for the City of Guelph. Except during COVID-19 years, there was an Earth Day event every year for the community. This helps people to connect with nature and with other people while having fun and giving back to the community. It had the spin-off benefit of increasing support for conservation, including Rotary support for trail work and the campaign to fund a replacement nature center. This is the benefit that really blows me away. The Rotary Forest is both an outdoor classroom and a living laboratory. This seating area is surrounded by the growing forest. I'll speak momentarily about champions, and in the center of this picture is one of the key ones, Greg Meredith, a teacher and supervisor at the Nature Center. Because of Greg, more than half of the trees in the Rotary Forest are planted by students as part of the curriculum at the Nature Center. This is followed up by lessons in forest stewardship and monitoring. This is a teaching gift that just keeps on giving, and the teachers at the Nature Center are thrilled to have a living outdoor classroom of their own making. As the forest grew, it quickly became a destination, and not just for the Nature Center classes. The Rotary Club and the landowner, the Grand River Conservation Authority, recognized the need for access, and with Rotary funding, a beautiful 1.6 kilometer stone dust trail and small parking lot were built. It is used almost daily by Nature Center classes and is very popular with the community. Dr. Claire Rennie was an absolutely tireless champion for this project. He was a past president of the Rotary Club of Guelph and used all of his connections and powers of persuasion to have the project adopted and continuously supported by the Rotary and by the Grand River Conservation Authority. This kind of champion makes possible this kind of legacy. Today, at the very top of the hill in the middle of the Rotary Forest is Claire's Lookout, built after his passing in 2016 to celebrate his legacy. So many champions. Third from left is Sarah Wilbur Collins, then Executive Director of the Grand River Conservation Foundation, the charity that nurtured the long-term relationships to make the project and the spin-off benefits possible. Pictured is a ceremonial groundbreaking in 2020 for the Rotary Forest Trail. So what makes this success possible? The long-term commitment of the major partners was crucial. The Rotary Club of Guelph's decision to make this its centennial project gave it a special significance and a form of protection for earmarked funds within the club. The fortuitous proximity of the Nature Center was one of the reasons for choosing this location. But weaving the forest into Nature Center programming ultimately turned out to be the centerpiece of the project. The project drew much support from corporations, funding agencies, and individuals. However, there's a good chance the project would have floundered without dedicated champions at the Rotary Club and the Grand River Conservation Authority. People like Greg and Claire and Sarah and many others. So the wealth of champions for this project was a huge benefit. Okay, the second case study is Trees for Guelph, which has been planting trees since 1991. So the oldest of the 150,000 plus trees planted are already 34 years old. And the model of arranging student plantings on orphaned sites throughout the city has stood the test of time. By orphaned, I mean sites capable of having trees, but where it likely wouldn't happen without an intervention. Trees for Guelph is an incorporated charity that makes such interventions possible by arranging funding, planting sites, approvals, volunteers, planters, trees, tools, and materials. The co-founders in 1991 recognized an opportunity and a need to increase canopy cover in Guelph's Northwest Industrial Zone. At the time, many factories there were on very large parcels of land, and the peripheral areas of the land parcels were mostly unused and relatively safe from development. High school students were brought by bus to the planting sites. The planting locations followed the pattern shown in the graphic. You might expect that such plantings would be at great risk from future development, and we have lost a handful of plantings in that way. But the majority of the plantings have remained intact, both on industrial and other sites. The 20-year-old trees pictured here exist only because of Trees for Guelph program, and there are many, many similar mini forests created by Trees for Guelph throughout the city. This site is within the Northwest Industrial Zone, so there are factories in every direction. Also about 20 years old, these trees running through a residential zone also exist only because of Trees for Guelph, even though they are on city-owned land. Again, high school students were brought to the planting events by bus. As the years went by, the remaining opportunities for plantings between factories dwindled, having planted over 50,000 trees on dozens of industrial sites. Trees for Guelph responded by shifting more plantings to municipal parkland and schoolyard naturalization. Younger students became involved, and classes mostly reach the planting sites now by walking. This lowers our cost and carbon footprint and means that most student planters are improving their own local neighborhood. Most of the trees are planted on school days by students, but also there are several community planting events on the weekends. So what makes Trees for Guelph work? Well, this is Moritz Sanyo. When it comes to engaging people with plants and planting, he performs magic. He has been the Trees for Guelph coordinator, a paid role, for 17 years. He is the public face of the organization and the linchpin of the successful events. The City of Guelph has supported the program every year since 1991, and the current support is stronger than ever. The city's support includes hosting sites, delivering wood chip mulch, logistics, and financial assistance. The volunteer board of Trees for Guelph is very dedicated with a very strong combined skill set. The community support for the program is very strong. So, what takes my breath away about the Rotary Forest? Claire's Lookout gives a 360-degree view of all 50 hectares of the Rotary Forest, all created by the community. And what takes my breath away about Trees for Guelph? When you stick with something long enough, you eventually get 34-year-old trees, and that is awesome. Well, folks, I'm not sure that I presented any new revelations, and I don't know enough about Argentina to know which parts of these models might be transferable. Trees for Guelph is outstanding for its longevity, and the Rotary Forest is outstanding for forest size, and they are both exceptionally successful experiential learning models to grow the urban forest. Over several decades of involvement in this field, these two programs stand at the top for me and have been both professionally and personally fulfilling. So I am very grateful that I could be involved with Trees for Guelph and the Rotary Forest, and very grateful to all of you for listening. Thank you very much.